What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, here on Industry Talk, and welcome to Primetime Pod, the hottest information resource outlet for all things entertainment, breaking news, celebrity interviews, and the hot topics of the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, we're on it. Just Google us, Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime.
And he got Prime Time Pod. Make sure you check it out.
How? Why the fuck you think he missing? He say
And Centerville a whole lot.
now I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
Time is money.
They go trap.
What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, coming at you all the way live. I'm in your space, and I'm in your face, and I'm blessed to be here on another beautiful day. It is January 23rd, 2026, here on Industry Talk. Welcome to the show. Today, I have a special guest that I'll be bringing to the stage here in just a little bit. Greg Lambert, aka Greg Fury, who is and who has a very unconventional story, yet it's a phenomenal story based on everything that he's experienced and everything that he's gone through in his life up to far. And we're going to jump into how he got into the music industry and the game and how he's doing his thing. So, like I said, we like to go in depth during our artist segments and talk to various individuals that have exceptional talent and are making a way. So today we're talking about perseverance, because let's be honest, everything doesn't go our way. There are seasons where you do everything right and still hit resistance. Doors don't open. Plans fall apart. People switch up. And in those moments, it's easy to question yourself instead of the process. But perseverance isn't about pretending it doesn't hurt. No, that's not what we're talking about. It's about deciding not to quit while it does. Some rough patches aren't detours. They're training grounds. They teach patience. They sharpen discipline. They force you to grow into the version of yourself that can actually handle what you're asking for, because you've made a request. You've asked of something. You asked your superior being, your God, for something. Every setback isn't a sign to stop. Sometimes it's confirmation that you're being prepared for something bigger than comfort, because all of us love our comfort zones, and we have to learn how to live and work in uncomfortable situations in order for us to persevere and excel beyond our current position, status, and level. So if you're in a season where progress feels slow, understand this: consistency beats talent when talent gets tired. Keep showing up, keep building, keep believing, even when the results don't show up on schedule, because you have to remember it's not on your time. Because the people who make it aren't always the ones that avoid the struggle. They're the ones who didn't let the struggle define them in the end. This is Industry Talk here on the Primetime Network. So let's get into it. Thank you all for joining us today. And before we kick this thing all the way off, for anyone that has not subscribed to our network, this one's for you. Stop what you're doing right now and go subscribe to Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime on YouTube, all social media platforms. Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to make sure you tap in. right now over 72,000 subscribers and well over 11 million views and watch time hours. So make sure that you continue to support, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and keep tapping in with us, because we're going to keep on bringing you this hot content every day and in every way. It's your main man, Big G. And make sure, like I said, stop what you're doing right now and tap in. Like, share, subscribe. Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime. Yes, indeed. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all of our platforms. That's Boss Talk Podcast 101, Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime. If you have not downloaded the app, be sure to download the app from your Google Store or the Play Store and tap in with us on Boss Talk 101. Now, like I said, today I have a good brother, Greg Lambert, that's going to be here in the studio with us today to talk about his life, to talk about what's going on, to give you guys a little insight about his story. He's done it at the highest of levels. I'm going to give him an opportunity to talk to you about that as we dig off into his background, who he is, where he's from, and what he's got going on. But when I say he's done it at the highest level, he was and still is, with the way I'm looking at it, a track coach. He might not necessarily be coaching track right now, present day. We'll get into that. But he was a track coach at the highest levels in SEC, D1. Last residence was at Tennessee. And we're going to talk about a few things that he's gotten involved in that he evidently didn't know until he Googled himself doing a search and found some profound information that he was facing unbeknown to himself. So I'm not going to spill the beans. We're going to get into the conversation. We're going to talk about how he found out about a pending lawsuit against him based on whatever that may be, whether it was defamation, character assassination, you name it. We're going to really jump off into it. We're going to give Greg an opportunity to talk to you about his story. But he is also a content creator, and I would consider him one of the best to do it at this point, based on how he's moving the algorithm with what he does, how he does it, and how he's telling his story. So to give you a little bit of an insight into what we're going to be getting into, I'm going to play this clip for you guys to give you a little background about Greg, and then we're going to bring Greg to the platform and jump into the who, what, when, where, why, and how of this conversation. So hold tight. And
federal court filing, a lawsuit filed in Tennessee with his name listed as the defendant. Now here's where it gets interesting. Greg currently lives in Maryland, and as of right now, there hasn't been any formal service, no paperwork delivered, no official notice, which means the first time he's actually seeing this is the same way the public would see it, online. So instead of reacting the way social media usually rewards, emotion, outrage, instant takes, he decided to do something much quieter. He decided to read the document. That's it. Because this filing is public record, anyone can pull it up. But very few people actually read what's inside these things before forming an opinion. So this series isn't about attacking anyone. It's not about proving anything. And it's definitely not about winning an argument online. It's about understanding how legal documents work, how allegations are written, how narratives get framed once lawyers, institutions, and timelines get involved. Words like verified complaint sound final. They sound authoritative, but they're still allegations, written from one side at one moment in time. So in the next clips, we're going to do something very simple and very boring. We're going to walk through the document, calmly, in context. When something is alleged, we'll call it an allegation. When something can be checked against public records, we'll talk about that too. No theatrics, no insults, no speculation. Just reading what was filed, so people actually understand what they're reacting to. This is episode 1.
okay. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, my good brother, Greg Lambert, a.k.a. G Fury. What's going on, brother, my brother?
It's good, my friend.
Good
Excited to
deal.
be
Good
here.
deal. Good deal. Did I miss anything on the introduction?
Man, that was one. Hey, man, that was one hell of an introduction. I don't think I could have done that better myself, though. So I appreciate you.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's kind of get into it, G. Um, because you have a very what I would can say a very compelling situation that you're in. And before we get into that, because I gave a little bit of the background with your clip, you have a series of clips that you have on your
Yeah.
social media that you're pushing out about your situation. But let's start off with letting the people know who you are, where you're from, and what Greg Lambert, aka G Fury, is all about. Talk to me.
All right. G Fury, Greg Lambert, also known as Coach Lambert as well. Formerly a college track and coach for almost 20 years. Coached from all levels, like you said. I've coached Olympians, conference champions. So I've coached at all levels. So I like to consider myself coach turned creator. So I like to do AI content, whether it's visuals or it's music. So that's where I landed, and that's my space. And like my music is basically about my life, and the concept is incorporating hip hop and my sport that I grew to love over being a part of almost probably over 30 years of my life. Track and field, so like, but also other aspects of it, and just being able to tell a story that no one else could ever tell in a different way. Oh, we still streaming? Oh, well, I'll just wait. But yeah, content creator, AI, visuals. I've been able to make music videos as well. My concept is leveraging AI, a particular app, Suno. Since there's been a lot of controversy with Suno, um, I've decided to try to leverage it with the concept of the music that I create. I write the music. I sample my vocals to adjust it within Suno, and I have different ways to sound. Pretty much, I can make any genre of music using Suno. So it's one of those things I can do very well. As well as like I said, I can make visuals. So my visuals are pretty dope. Right now, I got visuals I'm working on right now, kind of a Western hip hop thing, but real excited to talk about that as well. But yeah, I got a very unique story. It's one of those stories where you just turn your life around, your setbacks into comebacks. So we'll keep this going. Oh yeah, I'm in here by myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
You still there?
all right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Good stuff.
Good.
Good stuff. My internet dropped out on me, man. I don't know what's going on. We're down here in Mississippi. We're dealing with a little bit of some bad weather. I'm not making any excuses, but for some odd reason, the internet is coming in and out. It's kind of intermittent. I'm not sure where that particular situation may have come from, but that was kind of odd there. Just dropped out.
I tried to continue. I tried to keep it up for you while you were gone. I didn't want to stay quiet too long.
Yeah, well, at the same time, we were still live. The feed was still doing what it had to do, but I wasn't getting anything. There was nothing coming across. So let's keep this thing back off. Let's keep it going. Because the feed, the crazy thing about it is the feed came back exactly how it was. It's not like I had to create another feed and send you another link. It came back exactly how it was, which is odd. But let me check all of these platforms right quick, because we're up on Twitch. Make sure everything's going good on Twitch. We're up on YouTube. We're also up on IG, LinkedIn, and yeah. So everything's sound. All right. So let's get back into it, man. Let's let the people know. I hate to tell you to start over again, but let's let the people know where you're from, who you are, where you came from, what you're about. Give me the rundown again.
All right. So I probably need to talk about who I was from. I live in Columbia, Maryland. DMV guy, grew up there, originally from New Jersey. Went to college at Coppin State University right down the road, and I got my master's degree at Delaware State. I started coaching college track and field in 2006. I coached from historical black colleges to small Division threes, but to schools of the size of the SEC. So I've had a lot of different experience as a coach. Had some great experience. The best part about why I became a coach is just because I ran college track and field. I want to give back to a sport that gave back to me.
Okay.
I basically the last couple years kind of like was trying to find myself, and I stumbled on Suno, the app, during a situation where I was filing an EEOC case against the University of Tennessee after I gave up on it, and I just started writing my pain down and creating music of all types, and decided I was going to be an AI artist and content creator. And I was going to use the track and field algorithm because I was really highly get a lot of feeds on the algorithm because I am a track and field guy. I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm a famous Olympian, but a lot of people know who I am. And I'm well respected in the track and field world. So I decided to leverage, instead of just starting a new IG account, is really just push my content through the concept of track and field, and to get more people to boost my algorithm. So I decided to create a fake rap beef with a coach as a joke.
Okay, hold up.
Sorry.
Before we get too deep off into that, because that's a part of the story. So
Yeah, right.
let's go back a little bit. Let's go
Mhm.
back. High school. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school in Maryland, Hammond, a small school. It's not small anymore, but my small school called Hammond High School.
Okay, and so were you a track star in high school?
I was good. I always tell everyone that I was a better basketball player than track man because I was a diehard basketball player. But earned me a scholarship to go down to Meridian, Mississippi, where you're at. I went to school at MCC for like a year. Uh, was
Okay.
was All American there. First and last time was All American, and then got to college. Uh, Transferred one more time after that to Coppin State because I went to a small D3 called Frostburg. So I was there for a little bit. But yeah, and I just tried to finish off my college career. I didn't really ever have Olympic dreams, but I was a student of the sport. I knew I was going to be a better coach than I was ever an athlete. I probably was too smart as an athlete because I didn't understand the knowledge that I had at that time. I was coaching I was like when I was 17, I was almost coaching my own high school team. So it was like I can probably count that as a year. My first year running out indoor track that year, I did that. So it was like that was that moment at that time, and how I became a student of the sport was part of the reason why I became a track. My dad was a coach. Um, he ran the hurdles at Pitt University. At one point I probably would have said I was better than him, but I probably was never really as good as what he did, because he always tell you that he ran 14.3 on cinders. So when the
Mhm.
national record was 14.1, so obviously I never ran on cinders.
Okay. So you were better in basketball in high school,
Right.
but inevitably you became a collegiate athlete running track, right?
Correct. Right.
Okay. So what's the feeling like to reach the heights of being an All-American in the track lane? What's that like?
Um. Uh. I'd say it's it's a great feeling because like not everybody can
Okay.
say they're all American. You know what I'm saying? Not
Right.
everyone can have
Correct.
that opportunity. So it's like whether you were one time, whether it was junior college, whether it was NCAA, whether it was Division threes, D2, NAIA, it doesn't matter. Not everybody can say that about themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Correct.
I think it's an honor in itself. You kind of almost got to appreciate it when you in the moment. Um, you do appreciate the sacrifice and the days that you didn't want to show up to practice. Like I wasn't a talented like a talented athlete. I worked for every bit of my steps I got. Like I'm not gonna say I rolled out of bed, I was good. I'm never gonna tell anybody that, but I had to work for every bit of my every step that I had to get, whether it was on the track, on the field, or on the court. I earned every kudos that I had to get. So like my mindset
Mhm.
is that I have that is my gift and my curse that I'm going to be obsessed to be that good for whatever it is, even if it doesn't give me that much. Um, I know that I've earned that, and I can be real with that stuff. I'll tell anybody I'm not a talented. I was never a talented athlete, but I'll tell
Mhm.
you I put the work in. I was consistent.
Okay. So what were you running? Were you running the 100 meters? Were you running the 4x100 relay? Were you what where were you at on the field?
I was a 400-meter runner, 200-meter
40
runner,
meters?
400 meters,
Okay.
400.
400 meters.
Yeah,
Okay. And what was your fastest time as a 400-meter runner?
I ran 47.7.
Okay. And what's in that 400? Um, what is the current world record present day? If you can.
43.03. So that's
Okay. So you were moving pretty fast. You were moving pretty
uh
good. If 43.3 is the current world record, and you were running 47.7, you know what I'm saying? That's 47 seconds in 7/10 of a second in terms of time. You were moving pretty good.
I mean, for that time period, like
Yeah.
I always said this, I'll try to put it relatively. For that period, I was solid, and
Okay.
mind you, I was a 47-second guy when I got to college. And I say I only ran it one time, so I don't say I was a 47-second guy. That was my
Mhm.
best. I went from 49 seconds to 47 my freshman year. Um,
Okay. All right. I mean, okay. Whether you ran it one time or whether you ran it 10 times, it doesn't make a difference. You ran it. It's been clocked.
well,
It's in the
yes.
books. Yeah. Okay. And what does it take? Because track and field is different. Track and field is not like any other sport. It's although you might do relays or whatever the case may be, um, but track and field is a truly individual sport, almost like golf. So you have to commit to training your body every day, um, for whatever rigors may come through what it is that you're training for. How can I increase speed? How do I prepare myself mentally? How do I prepare myself? What's my diet's got to be like? So talk to me a little bit about what goes into preparing yourself to be a superior athlete on the track and field, in that space, in that vertical.
Uh, you have to be boring. I will tell anybody this to be boring. I realized that afterwards, and
Mhm.
then teaching kids that, it's being the master of one punch. Um, like you got to be very disciplined and consistent. You got to find wins. You got also got, and you got to, and being able to work on yourself. Being able, I tell kids I've ever coached, you got to be willing to lose to win. And
Mhm.
when I say that, it's like knowing that you're gonna you when you lose, you learn. All right. When you win,
Okay.
you get comfortable. So you want
Okay.
to do the same thing again that got you successful. But if you were successful doing that, the things have changed. You're a different person. That changes now, so you now need to adapt to the change. So the big thing is being boring and being able to change. and being
Okay.
honest with yourself. So like I think those are very consistent things. Whether it's like you're talking about, hey, I'm going to bed. I'm not going to put school first. And it's when I say that is like track is going to be first, but I'm gonna work my life around school. I'm gonna work my life around track. And if that
Mhm.
means I'm not going to study, I'm not going to study like 3 hours at night, 3 hours going into like the next to like 1 o'clock in the morning, and knowing that I have to get up for practice at 7, you got to have that kind of discipline. And knowing that
Mhm.
you have to sit there and prioritize, meaning that you need to put that time in, or that you need to at least trust yourself in the process that you have enough time in that day that you've organized yourself. I think that's the same level of structure that why kids are successful when they're in college. But I think the reason why it gets a little difficult when they become professional is when they don't have that same exact structure, and really that becomes that next stage where you have to duplicate that. Because at that point, at that next stage, you're funding it, not the school. So being
Mhm.
able to be that kind of disciplined and being able to adapt to each portion of your life, I think that being very uncomfortable and to find comfort, that's when you're trying to do a PB, that's all it really is. You're doing something uncomfortable. You don't want to do what you did the first year to get what you got, because you're a whole different person. Why would I do that? But that's the key to get there. I think that's
Mhm.
what I've seen. I look at track and field more like boxing. It's more of a one-on-one sport. It's like it's like it's taking jabs. It's like doing with the footwork. It's small things. Whether it's the weight room, and whether it's on the track, whether it's your diet, whether you're getting recovery, they all come together. Because like boxing's a lifestyle. So is track and field. Track and field is a lifestyle sport. So like
Mhm.
anything you do in track can affect your life. So I
Mhm.
think that's a big thing that you have to like that take into consideration. Like I look at even you getting married, you know what I'm saying? You having a kid, like those things, if you think that you're gonna have success and you have change going on in your life, you're not going to be the same person. You can't be. And you're not going to be able to deal with it the same exact way based on whatever part of your life as you're competing in track and field as you go.
Okay. Okay. So coming out the blocks, because I want people to kind of to gauge it and get a fair understanding. When you're making your push, whether it be the 100 meters, 400 meters, um, you know, and to give folks, conceptually an idea of what the 400 meters is. One time around the track, two times around the track, halfway around the track. Give them a little background of what the 400 meters is on
400,
an Olympic size or a collegiate size stadium track.
one lap around the track, a quarter of a mile.
Quarter of a mile. Okay. And so you're doing a quarter of a mile in 47.7 seconds, right?
Right.
Where along the way are you looking for that explosion? Are you at the final turn? Are you looking at it coming out the blocks? I need to get the jump on everyone, or are you pacing yourself, or is it just a full out sprint?
I'm gonna say, were you looking for that bit of explosion? It better happen the first steps that you come out those first 6 steps.
Okay. Okay.
If you're gonna die, you're gonna die. I believe that if you're gonna die in a race, you're gonna die in a race. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
I can fix you dying. I can't fix you going out not dying, because that means you
Right.
can compete. So it's being able to just accelerate, commit to it, and being able to set up the race. Because it's about distributing it's not about evenly distributing your energy. It's about distributing your energy in the most effective and efficient
Hmm.
way. And just knowing, I'm a science guy, so I look at like how Sir Isaac Newton looks at it, like how with every action is an opposite reaction, and what the probability of how you're going to run the first half of the race, what that percentage of what that race pattern looks like versus the second half. So being able to understand that is going to be knowing that you have to go out like it's like anaerobic or aerobic. So like anaerobic is everything explosive. Aerobic is everything that's cardiovascular, lungs and everything. So I people look at the race as I was growing up was a 60-40 split. That's what's the approach. That means
Hmm.
60 anaerobic, 40 aerobic. I don't approach it like that. I approach
Okay.
it. I approach it to 80. to 85 anaerobic than the rest aerobic, because I'm like, you gotta catch me. So I mean, that's how the races run now. So I'm going based off what science is, and I feel like you have a higher chance of running faster if you're just holding on your speed. And again, you're gonna lose. Everyone has a kick. Again, it's being able to set it up, and it can't get set up unless you start the race right.
Okay. So now you're coming out the blocks.
Mhm.
Gun goes off. Pow! You're coming out the blocks. You're already in the crouch position, and you're about to get into a full standing up position, right? So from that crouch position to you standing up, and then you hitting that first bend, right?
Right.
Where does it, because you say you right out the gate, you want to hit it right
Yeah.
out the gate, but where does it kick in? Because you already know, you're picking up speed and momentum as you go.
Right. When you're running a 4, I believe the first one, you commit to the first 150 of the
Okay.
race. So your acceleration matrix is going to be dictated by the first 150 meters. So you're
Mhm.
accelerating, obviously you're going to change acceleration, but your effort going into the first 150 should be like, what this that you're putting that effort into it. So, and if you're a kid, and if you've ever been a kid and you ran down a hill and you just didn't use your arms, that's what it would be the next 50 meters of the race.
Mhm.
All right. So, and again, if you're not using your arms, that means less effort, because at that point you've already built momentum and your arms are going to carry you through. So I like to say psychologically, let your legs do the work for like 50
Okay.
meters, and your
Right.
arms just to be able to go back to. So like where you reach the fastest point of a 400, where everyone's going to decelerate, is going into the third turn. So I always look at it based off simple rules. Everyone that runs a 400, if they, no matter how they do it, this is the right way. The second hundred is the fastest 100. The second fastest 100 is the first 100. The third fastest 100 is the third, and slowest is obviously going to be the last one because you're decelerating. So if you know those principles, that you've got to be able to set yourself going up into the turn and then going right back to your arms, because you can't explode. You're just fighting deceleration, but you're going into that curve and building into that curve to finish the last 100 or 150. So I like to approach it like you're running only 300 meters of your arm effort, or 350 meters of your arm efforts, because you're going to only use your arms. You're going to let your arms have the conserve, and it's not really conserving. It's letting your momentum's carrying you through. At that point, you're just going like you're running down a hill. That's the concept of how you're going to be able to move across the next 50 meters of your race. So that
Okay.
determines the whole entire last part of your 200.
Okay. So now coming into the final stretch, and we're about to cross the finish line.
Mhm.
Are you leaning in? Are that last push? Are you trying to, have wings back? How are you crossing the finish line?
You're just going to try to be at that point. You are putting yourself in an attack position. So whatever your attack position is, whether it's having your hips under you,
Okay.
and you're being able to create force. The whole thing is I don't look for form. I'm looking at for like, are you in an attack position? So for
Mhm.
me, my attack position when I was running, I said I'm not going to be attacking the last 100 meters unless my hips are under me and I'm pushing down the track.
You're still pushing.
And
You're still pushing.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm pushing. And like again, if I'm gonna push, I'm gonna keep pushing. Then I gotta have my hips under me. Otherwise, I'm just
Right.
gonna be I'm gonna be dying if I'm not. I know I have those hips under me.
Gotcha. So you're chest up and not nose out.
No, yeah, I got chest up,
Okay.
head level. Like
Gotcha.
I'm talking to you right now. It gotta be like that.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. All right. Just to give the audience an idea of the brain trust that you have with the track and field scenario, so that they'll have a true understanding that you do this. This isn't for
Oh
play.
yeah.
You really are that guy when it comes to track and field, and you took your talents to the point to where as you began coaching as well. But before I move on into the coaching sphere, I'm still talking about you and you running. On the 4x100 relay, what was your leg? What position were you? Were you
Um, on my
the
on
lead?
my
Did you?
on my best team,
Uh-huh.
I was I was lead off.
Okay, so you started the race off. Okay.
Yeah, I started the race
Mm-hmm.
off. That was on the best team I was, which was my freshman year. But
Mm-hmm.
if I ran every leg but third.
Okay. Okay. And I guess you put me in the mix because yeah, I was always in the middle, man. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want me to start this thing off, and I damn sure.
Oh, the feed went out. I stay sharp. I'm sorry, the feed went out again, people. Let's get that storm. I'll be back. Okay. Mm, mm.
And we back, Greg.
Yeah, you good?
Like I said, man, this cold weather, I guess, is really just messing. I normally don't have issues with my internet, but
Okay.
for some odd reason, this thing is really wanting to act a fool with me today. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm still going to get this awesome story from you and everything that you got going on. We're gonna keep it pushing. And now my cameras are messing up, looking all blurry. We're gonna get that straightened out too. Now in my dashboard, everything looks crystal clear. But
Okay.
as it comes across this feed with the latency, I'm looking like a very furry individual on screen. But
Are you clearing up now?
yeah, we're clearing up slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Um, so like I was saying, I was never the first leg or the last leg to close out the race. I was always in the middle. So I guess coach was trying to tell me I was slow. But but I thought I was, I was a good handoff guy. I could sit there and hand the baton off pretty good. Um, so let's talk about, you jumping into training and coaching um, on the collegiate level and
Mhm.
how you got into that phase of your life.
Um, my mentor, Donald Webster, was my dad's best friend.
Okay.
He kind of inspired me to do it. And it was a statement that I probably should have wished I never heard, but I'm glad I heard it. He said when I got to college, I'd be very tough to coach. And he said because
Mm,
and the reason why he said I was going to be tough to coach is because I want to know why.
Okay.
and I want to know why. Not so I can understand. Not whether I can believe is to really because I really want to understand the science of it because I'm really like very inquisitive about those things. And uh, from that moment on, when I graduated college, me and my college coach at Coppin didn't have the best relationship. Uh,
Mhm.
on the track, off the track, that was my guy, you know. Um, but when I got to, but when I became a coach, and I didn't know what I wanted to do when I got out of college. And I thought I wanted to be, I thought, hey, maybe if I run and I coach, that maybe I can probably do the both. And you really can't do the same thing because as a coach, you have to be selfless. As a professional athlete, or you're trying to go for an Olympics or anything like that, you got to be selfish. So
Mhm.
like being a coach is a very selfless act.
Right.
Being a professional, that's very you have to be if you there's no way you can't be good if you're not selfish. You know,
Mhm.
that's just the mindset of that, especially now as I look at it, being an athlete, I don't know if I was selfish enough um
Mhm.
to achieve that. Now as a coach, I understood that and I didn't want anyone to go through the experience that I went through. And I'll sit there and say I was hard to coach, and I think the part was not because I did know too much, and doesn't mean
Mhm.
I was right because I had to look at it like track is one of those sports, 80% mental, 40% physical. So I wanted to approach the sport that I could have that relationship with the coach. And I think my relationship with my coach, if I just trusted him, I'd have been all right. Because at the end of the day, he wanted the best for me. And
Okay.
my way after having those experiences, and again, I'm the common denominator through all that because it was like that for 3 different schools. So I got to be the problem. So I took accountability for myself later on again, and that's what most coaches say. Like you realize that after you're done. My goal was to say that like the old saying, Hove say, I go through that, so you won't have to go through that. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to be a coach, because I want to give the experience that I wish I had, but also give them the coach that I also didn't get it. I didn't get as well, and being able in that dynamic. And I think that was part of the reason what I wanted to be able to do. Like I felt like the sport gave me so much. I got my first opportunity at Coppin State, my alma mater. I volunteered my first year, and my next year I decided to go to grad school, and I was at Delaware State. Um, that was one of my favorite experiences because that's when my mentor Steve Lewis was working with me and Dwayne Henry and they were really that was one of the best years I ever had. It was hard always. It took me years and years down the line to be able to to have a year that what that experience was. And then I got to coach that next year at American University. I coached Iron Mike's stepdaughter. That was interesting. And she's a great kid. You know what I'm saying? Got to meet Iron Mike like once. You know, um, and then from American University, I came back to Coppin for it was another volunteer stint for them. Mind you, I want to put this in perspective. Uh, at Coppin, that was for free. At Delaware State, technically speaking, I was paying to go to school, so that was for free. Uh, at Coppin and American, that was for free. So I didn't get paid until my 5th year in the profession, and that was
Mhm.
part time. And
Right.
I took a bet on myself because my college coach at Coppin, because I said I wanted to have I needed a group to be able to validate myself and like to work with. And he said something that really just ticked me off, but I'm glad he said it. He said, You're not consistent enough." Now, mind you, I got fired from a job because I put track first, you know,
Mhm.
and that really boiled me, and like I was determined to get a job. And uh this this couple down at the University of Richmond, Steve and Lori Taylor, like a mom and dad to me. um they gave me an opportunity, and I came down there, and it was like literally on like the day before my birthday. They scheduled my interview, and then I went down there on a Monday, got the job on a Tuesday. And I turned that job from part time to full time in a year, but it wasn't much. It was from like probably from 12,000 to 22,000. You know, um, and I was working another job. Like I had different jobs during that stretch. So I stayed there for going to my year 3, where I had probably the best recruiting class of that time that probably set Richmond off. Stephen Laurie to this day will probably say that recruiting class set the tone for where they are currently to this day. Got that class and got a call from for an opportunity to go to Georgetown, and
Okay.
and I went to Georgetown, and that was I was like, again, being during with John Thompson, and I always wanted to go there, and as just a basketball fan, but to have the opportunity to coach there, it was great. Went
Okay. Now,
there.
John Thompson, we talking about the dad or we talking about the son?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, John, Big John.
Mm-hmm.
He actually got to meet him. He loved me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time I met him, he said, he shook my hand. I actually didn't remember my name when I said talk to him. He said, "I don't know who you are, but there's something about you that I like."
Mm-hmm.
And I never forgot that moment. And every time I had a recruit on campus, Big John said, "He'll take care of you. He'll take care of you." You know, and Big John would always just, "I just like you," you know, and he doesn't like just anybody. That's a tough guy. And his son, that was my guy too. I go in there and watch practice some days, and I think that was one of my favorite places to work at, because it was for being a PWI. It had a black AD and a assistant AD black woman. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? They were like one of my favorite places to work, because I got to have that experience. And then
And before you move on with that, to my general audience, welcome everyone that's here. PWI means predominantly white institution. For those of you who may not necessarily know,
sorry about that.
it's the acronym for Georgetown University. But he's saying that he was blessed to have, you know, African American ADs, and a lot of the leadership that was at Georgetown and on campus had the same hue as he. So please continue.
Yeah, and that's dope. I think that's like they don't. That's I used to tell them every day, that's y'all Black history. They're still there. That's dope. So I actually
That's right.
then my mentor, Willie, who actually ended up telling me to go to Meridian Community College, and he recruited me when I was in high school. Was working at Ole Miss, and he reached out to me, and he asked me, did I want to come down there after 2 years being at Georgetown. I was like, man, like, it's the SEC, and I need to change, and I wanted that opportunity to be able to coach there, and show that I can. Went down there, and by that time at Georgetown, just so you could put, I was making decent money for that time period, like probably like around, I was making at least, I think it was like just right under 50, right there, you know. Went to Ole Miss, and spent was there a year. I got a few All-Americans. I had a guy beat Christian Coleman in a 60, set of numerous school records. That very year, the head coach that brought me down, he resigned. So how that works is they bring a new head coach in, and the new head coach brings their own staff.
Right.
So I was one
You
of
had to
those
find another
situations.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, to find a new job, and it was the timing was awful. I interviewed so many different places during that stretch, and a friend of mine, his name's Kareem Street, reached out to me, you know, and again, like, I think I do a good job of just networking and really befriending people in the coaching world. And Kareem called me up one day, says like, man, I know you're looking for a job. I said, what do you think about Boston University? And I love the city of Boston. The first time I went to it, I loved it, and I love that school. Like, I loved it. It's like, would you really go? I was like, man, that'd be a dope dream job, man. I love that experience, because I like the city of Boston. So he called up my former head coach, Robin Johnson, and I reached out, and she reached out to me, and I went. At that time, I took the China bus up there from Baltimore, because by that time I had moved out of Mississippi, and I took the China bus up there, and I just interviewed, and she gave me the job that day, and then I was like in October, so I was like probably out of I probably was out of work technically speaking, probably for like a month. For September, because August was the last time I was working for him. Then I spent the next 4 years in Boston. That's where I met my wife, where I had my first son. Boston was, I feel like I always said, it's the city that really made me. I love Beantown. Like I go back if I can, if I
Okay.
could. It's
Okay.
a track and
So,
field city.
so before we keep going beyond the Boston situation, let's back up just a little bit, because you were making reference to all of the jobs that you had prior to in track and field at the various colleges that you were at, but you were still in school, right?
No, I graduated. I got my master's degree in 09.
So you got your master's in 09. So you were just, okay, so you were working part-time somewhere else and then working on these college campuses for free.
Right.
Okay. So that in itself, you were building your resume. You were building your currency and your network in terms of folks knowing that, you're truly committed to track and field, because
Right.
that job in itself, in dealing with students and not getting compensated for it, that you pulling your hair out, because I'm no pun intended, but college students at that age, cycling in year to year, having to go through the training regimens and keeping them on track, and making sure that based on what you're doing, keeping them motivated, because track and field.
Again, huh? It's cold weather. This cold weather did not play. Testing. That's crazy. They're going. Oh, shoot. Let me.
I'm back, G.
Hey, my guy.
Yeah. Okay. My apologies. Like I
you
said, this
good?
internet thing is killing me over here, and I don't normally have these interruptions. You've been a part of our lives, and you know that I don't normally have these issues. I started paying attention to where you started locking in with the Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and for some odd reason, this intermittent signal is throwing me off. So I'm gonna have to get in contact with AT&T and see what the hell's really going on. Big shout out to my sister Smitty, aka Brand_songs, aka DJ Trace Ease. That is how I got connected with my brother G Fury. Big shout out to my girl, just so that y'all know. And DJ BJ Clark, 104.5 or 104.9 out of Chi-Town, out in the Chicago area. Big shout out to those guys, and to everyone that is joining us on this live today. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on in. To Tremaine, D'Amica, Shay, what's going on, Sister Shay Waller, Zach Shot It, and a few others. And of course, if you were on Twitch, it kicked you off of the Twitch because the feed went down, and if you were on YouTube, the live went down because of an internet connection. So by no fault of my own or even Brother Greg, AT&T, this one's on you. And I'm not making excuses because excuses are monuments of nothingness. They build bridges to nowhere. Those of us who choose to use these tools of incompetence shall become masters of the same. So let's get back into it, man, because this is an interesting conversation. We were talking about Greg, and we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes of it, but I got to give you the build up. I gotta let you know. I gotta let you know about this guy. Yeah, and I gotta let you know how serious he is about track and field, because when you hear about the bombshell that was dropped into his life, you'll get a better understanding of why I was attracted to this story, why I was interested in talking with G Fury outside of the fact that he's an artist, he's a AI content creator. He's going through it, right? And not only is he going through it, he's going through it. He had to file an EEOC complaint. Well, we're gonna get into that, right? But let's get back into what we were talking about. You were serious about coaching because, like I was saying, you know, unless you're at a track meet and you're running, you know, people don't want to wake up and go to track practice in the cold. Right, they don't want to run in the cold. They don't want to sit there and wake up and do sprints and do all of the stretch and do all of the things that you in ways that you have to prepare as an athlete on the track and on the field. It's different because basketball, you're playing, you're working. You know, you do some individual stuff, but you can run fives, you can do one-on-ones, but or in football, it's the team element. But as a unless you're doing a relay, and that gets kind of redundant, you know what I'm saying? Knowing how to pass the baton, knowing how to sit there and, you know, the call signals that you're going to use or you want to use as you're going around the track. You know, there's only so many times that you're going to do that in order for you to perfect it. And once you've perfected it, then you're to the point where it's okay, now we're just doing this over and over and over and over again. The repetition, it gets very boring, and all you're doing as a runner is running. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you're doing. You're running. You know, keeping your body in shape, you're eating right, but your core and essential thing that you're doing on that track, if you're a sprinter, if you're a distance runner, whatever, you're running. Process that, ladies and gentlemen. You're not throwing the ball around. No, you're running. So that's an individual mindset. That's your will and your determination to want to be the best in your lane. You know, that you do not, if you only knew the feeling, if you've never run track and field, if you only knew the feeling of being number 2 crossing that line, not the last person, you know what I'm saying? They know they ass slow as hell anyway. I'm talking about you're right there at the finish line and you're a 1/10 of a second behind someone, and you know that I should have I don't know what I didn't do right, but I know I wasn't supposed to lose to this individual. So talk to me about that mindset and, you know, keeping kids motivated to want to engage in track and field and prepare themselves to improve on what they did yesterday and every day after that working on improving your body and your mind to actually do this job?
Um, that's a question right there that probably changed so many times. I've had to answer it so many times over the last over years. So each of
Right.
these kids are different. But I'd say there's one, I'd say something that's very consistent is reiterating that, like,
Mhm.
that this is like, this is it's not a sport. You don't play track, right?
Right. Right.
You run it, you
Right.
throw it, you know what I'm saying? You jump it, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like there are
Mhm.
actual actions that go along with that. And with
Right.
those actions come life choices.
Mhm.
In order for those actions to get the answer to the equation that you need answered, and that
Mhm.
in the sport of track and field. So really breaking it down to them in that regard of their life, because every situation is very different. Like I'll
Right.
sit there and say, like, how I coached the kid at Boston University, that's a top 45 school in the country. I cannot coach that kid the same way at University of Mississippi.
Right.
I can't coach that same kid at the HBCU. I cannot coach that kid the same way at the Division Three. Or I can't Western Carolina, so forth, or any other school that I've ever been at. I can't coach that kid the same way because they got a different situation, but a different way of dealing with that. And so
Right.
as a coach, you have to be able to adjust to that kid so but you also got to be able to say that the structure and the blueprint doesn't change,
Mhm. Mhm.
and the big thing is applying that blueprint to where they are in their life. And I always try to do like a self audit, because a lot of the kids, they think they work hard until they find that they don't, you know,
Okay.
um, uh, they're more about looking good first, winning second. So you got
Right.
to revert. Now you got to reverse that mindset. They want to PB every weekend versus sitting there saying, "Hey, let's work on something." Because
Mhm.
a personal best does not matter unless a championship's on the line. That is my
Right.
philosophy. Like, you got to going back to the meets. You got to be willing to lose to win. So
Mhm.
everything up to the meet to the championship is just practice.
Mhm.
Even the meets we go into weekends. So being able to reverse engineering that mindset, because that's also like a boxing mindset to me, that you're going to drill that. Again, getting a kid in this era where everything is so comes easy to them with Google and like your phones, is right at their fingertips. To reverse that mindset is a very tough task to do. But they're all based on fundamentals. And I always tell a kid, we got to do a self audit first. I do a self audit every year. I would do it every year as a coach. Like, just because I had success doesn't mean there wasn't failures. I got to find that failure so I can make the adjustments the next year.
Right. Okay. So now a lot of people don't understand that, although in the era of NIL, track and field really isn't seeing a whole hell of a lot of money when it comes to getting the top tier athletes in the track and field space. So a lot of times, especially once they're out of college and they're pursuing their career, and you have to be the best of the best to get sponsorships and endorsements, or even if you're trying to make an Olympic run to
Right.
qualify, going through all the regionals and qualifier stages that you have to go through to actually get accepted onto the field as an Olympian. These guys aren't getting paid. That's one thing that you're not in track and field to get paid. That's not how it happens. So explain that a little bit.
I mean, it's no different than being an artist. Was a
Correct.
360% deal that they call them? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like
Right.
that's what they are. They're 1099 contractors. I think Noah Lyles said
Mhm.
that on one of those podcasts that I watched him on, and
Mhm.
like I think he was
Mhm.
real about that. I think because you're running for a sponsor, you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
think but I think the day of social media and like I use a great example of a young man that I probably will sit there and say that will probably end up. I won't be surprised if he makes one world championship team or an Olympic
Okay.
team, because the biggest struggle is being able to survive, right? And in the era of NIL and the internet and social media, you do not need a shoe deal to be an Olympian. You need a
Right.
personality to be an Olympian, because a personality can probably fund your dream. No different than if you
Right.
think about from the music industry. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
they're very parallel in that regard, because like if you can visually be good, you can get endorsements, you get NIL. And it's great now. These high school kids or college kids can get those deals now.
Mhm.
But I think if they're thinking about if they're gonna get it on your performance,
Right.
that's where it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Because they only have so many deals that they can spread out, and they're only expecting only certain amount of you to pan out. You know, and they're always going to take. And you have these situations where they're not ideal. Like if you're signed with a shoe deal, you got to go wherever that coach is. So like even if I had success with my college coach, but I'm signed with Nike, and my coach ain't a Nike coach, then I can't work with my coach unless Nike feels comfortable. But as soon as things start looking a little off, they're going to change that. You know, and again, that's a lifestyle sport. So they're giving you a coach that you're not familiar with, where you now in a group where you're amongst another probably 10 people or possibly more, depending on what the situation is. So now it becomes you're with a bunch of wolves trying to survive. Wow, right in the middle. That was a good point when I was getting there. But pretty much you would have. Come on, buddy. Come on. Go see mom. No, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. Okay.
Daddy, this is butt noggin cheese.
Yeah, I know.
Tuna. Daddy got two died.
I know.
Let's take it to that.
I know. I'm on the live.
John,
No, 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 no.
let's take it to that. Oh no, you got two dad. Yeah.
Say hi.
Hi.
Right.
Oh, that's Daddy's.
It is.
And I'm not on you.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
On my head.
I know. All right. You go see mommy?
Bring it to me.
No. All right.
My head.
All right.
Yeah, man. Dad, what's up, Pops? How you doing, man?
Say hi. Say hi, Alonzo.
Hi. You got two
How you
again.
doing? Huh?
So you doing? He asked how you were doing. So you're doing good. He's he decided
Good
to
looking
interrupt.
fella there. Good looking fella.
Yeah,
No,
he does.
not an interruption at all, man. No, I appreciate you letting us see a part of your family.
Two.
Yeah. He's a good looking guy, man.
Thank you. Thank
And we
you.
were in this internet's killing me right now, but we were talking about being
The training groups.
being the kids or the people themselves making a way in the industry as it relates to track and field. But I mentioned before I got cut off, I Am Speed. You know the name, right?
Yes.
So he's definitely one of those ones that have taken his celebrity and
Yeah.
his talents to a totally different level.
Right.
It's a
You know,
name.
because when it came to track and field, we looked at it in a one-dimensional way. If in fact you weren't in the sport, we looked at FloJo,
Right.
the Joiners, you know what I mean, Usain Bolt,
Right.
there are a lot of others that came before them, but those were the ones that you kind of
The one percenters. The one percenters.
yeah, the best of the best in that space. But they were the ones that got all of the brand and the brand ambassador deals and the endorsements and the sponsorships and the shoe
Right.
deals. And for some odd reason, Nike wasn't into track and field that heavy, and Puma was the quintessential track shoe. And they made horrible track shoes at the time. You know, I mean, they got better. They got better.
They got better when
But
they got Bolt. They had to get better when they got Bolt.
they had to got better. They had to get better when they got Usain Bolt. Correct. But if Nike was into track and field the way they were into basketball, then you would see a totally different inline of shoe, foot support, the whole 9 yards. That's what Puma had to do eventually. And then every sprinter shoe, because I mean, when I was in high school, if you know your sprinter shoes, or like the shoes that are on your cabinet in the back there, I see on the back, they were the same shoes that long distance runners were using for some reason. You get what I'm saying? When I was coming up, like, this is your track shoe. Like, wait a minute, I need me a more comfortable shoe. I don't. I'm running long distance. I'm not sprinting. I don't need spikes. I need padding. I'm gonna be doing. So the whole science behind running changed, you know. And of course, you know, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But we were talking about how track and field individuals actually make money in the sport. How does it happen? You know, and even as an Olympian, you're not getting paid like that. Even the gold medal winners don't get paid like that.
They're getting paid off, like I said, like they're they're independent artists, you know, like they're getting and the shoe companies can take their deals as quick as they give it to them. The stipulations on it, like, I mean, as great as Allison Felix is, and she's one of the 1%ers, Nike was playing with her on maternity leave. Like, that's like what? Like, and she's been an ambassador for how long? And you want to try to play with her for that long? Like, and that's how they treat track athletes. Track athletes are not supposed to make money from the sport. It is not designed that way.
Right.
It is not designed. It is like what Michael Johnson tried to do with the league. Like, to get athletes to get paid, like, it doesn't make sense. Why am I paying the slave? Like, why are you getting money? Like, that doesn't make sense. That model doesn't make sense to me. To creating that kind of model, like why Grand Slam did not work, because you can't pay them. They can't make more money than the janitor.
Right. Well, okay. And that was a bad business model.
Yeah.
Simply because you want me to eat right.
Right.
You want me to keep weight. You want me to sit there and train 7 days a week.
Right.
You want me to sit there and set, you know, unconventional minded records. You want me to be the fastest on the track. You want me to be, you know, you want me to go break Usain Bolt's record.
Right.
That's what you want me to do. But you don't want to sit there and put me in a position to win like that, because you're not giving me all of the nuances that it takes to actually train your body to be that type of an individual, male or female.
Right. Because the way it's set up is for them to, if you're on the deal, like, the deal is you got a coach, they pay for you. You know what I'm saying? And what Mike was trying to do is create a league. Track and field doesn't need a league. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but they don't need that. It's like I said, they probably need to do something more exhibition, where they're running against someone like a speed, or run against or street racing. Maybe that could be something they could do. But what track and field biggest issue is that you gotta, if you can, but there's more opportunities for these kids now. They can make it now because they can go, if they don't need a Nike shoe deal, they can monetize their audience. No different than an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we had an Olympian from Canada that had OnlyFans. That's how she funded her Olympic dream, through her OnlyFans. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, if there's so many from when I was in school and when I was coming up, you needed a deal. You didn't have any ways to monetize. Now, like
Mhm.
I said about this guy named Aaron Brown. He may make one because he's a content creator first, but who loves track and field. And again, that's the if he's consistent and he doesn't have to worry about things. His life is gonna be fine. He can make like over time, he's gonna get better because like track and field, you don't start reaching your prime until your late 20s.
Right.
And you start going down probably like you're like 35. So if you're
Yeah.
someone that's a content creator and you're still around the space and you're creating enough to monetize your audience, it's possible. I'm not saying it's
Mhm.
guaranteed, but it's possible.
Right.
Because there's been guys that did just work the regular 9 to 5 and did it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
it's capable, but the sport's not set up for the kid to make money after college.
Right. Right. So let's now that we didn't, the ins and outs of the track game, you're at Boston University, and you spent some time at Boston University. You've created some of the best athletes to come out of some of these schools that you were coaching at. Let's jump into some of the meat and potatoes of why we're here today. And when did you get the job at Tennessee?
Uh, it would have been August 8th, 2022. Right before my son was right the day after my son was born.
Okay, the day after your son was born.
That's my first
And
day. That's my first day I started. Let me take that back. It's my first day.
okay. And so how was that transition going from Boston University into the SEC, which is one of the biggest playing fields. I don't give a damn whether it's underwater basket weaving. The SEC, the Southeastern Conference,
Yeah.
has some of the best athletes that touches their campuses. And of course, who you're competing against are the best of the best, from Alabama to
Yeah.
Mississippi State, Ole
Mhm.
Miss.
Mhm.
You've got the laundry list of the 12 teams, 13 teams that are in that conference,
Right.
and they looking to pull your soul out of you when you compete against them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they have fans that come out and fill the stands, whether it be baseball, basketball, croquet. I don't care what it is. They're coming.
Yeah.
The fan base is there. So
Yeah.
what was that like touching Tennessee's campus and starting work for Tennessee in the SEC?
If we're gonna start, is that more like you want the nostalgia of what was like being at Tennessee? Is that I want to make sure I
Yeah,
answer
well,
that right.
however you want to phrase it, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I,
my son
I,
played at
I,
Mississippi State, so I know what it's like. I know what the campus life is
yeah.
like for anybody coming on. But I'm talking about you specifically, not a student, but you
For,
specifically.
for me, when I got the job, I was excited to be able to work with Dwayne Ross. I was excited. I've known Dwayne Ross since 07, and he was an Olympian. Um, and he was part of the Balco. And he got back in the day, if you remember with Barry Bonds and all that, like he was part of the whole Marion Jones situation back in the
Okay.
day.
So
All
stop
right.
right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Because a lot of people might not understand when you say Balco, we're talking about PEDs, performance enhancement
Yeah.
drugs, or steroids at the time to help particular athletes, whether it be weightlifters, gymnasts, track and field, baseball players, to get that edge, so to speak, based on taking a hormone and injecting it, or
Right.
some type of a supplement that would pass through your system to help
Right.
you with endurance, weightlifting, whatever the case may be. But Balco had created a system where it was undetectable by the current test.
Right. To this day.
So please, go ahead.
Probably almost to this present day, because the tests they're always ahead.
Right.
They're always ahead of the testing. So yeah, my coach, Dwayne was part of that. And when he came back, he was suspended from the sport. So I think that was like 04, or if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
04. So I think he got like a 2-year, or I think a 2 or 3 year suspension. I think he was coaching at Methodist. Nobody was really messing with him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
at that time. Me, I'm a young coach at this point, and I'm like, man, like that got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like he's cool with me. So like when I met him down in Raleigh, and like after that, I was like he big homie me, and like we were just really cool. Like
Right.
we go back and forth, like texting. I check on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to the point where he got to go to A&T. And he turned A&T into a monster. Like what he did at A&T will never be duplicated ever again. I just don't see it happening. Which got him ultimately job at the University of Tennessee. So originally I was supposed to go to A&T. And it was a situation, and because what ended up, I said to him the year before, like, hey, look, I'd be interested in working with you, Coach Ross. Like I could learn from you. Like I don't have my ego is not too big to play a second fiddle to you. I can be your Robin if you need me to be Alfred. You know what I'm saying? Like I can recruit for you. You know what I'm saying? Because the kind of kids he liked were kind of kids that I kind of coached, but more on an elite level. And I felt like my eye is talent. I can assess that, and I find kids that I can coach. I think I can also find kids that he can coach too. So, which led me to the University of Tennessee. Man, it's crazy. Damn, it's crazy. Oh, yeah, I'm in there right. Man. Oh man, trying to get the meat and potatoes. Right when it's about to get good. So I'm telling you, like. Like he's trying to get back on. You're doing crazy. Getting back. AT&T is terrible. I ain't gonna lie, I was like that when I was on Meridian.
Yeah. So, my apologies, man.
Man, you good,
so
man.
we were talking about, huh?
You good, man. You're good.
Okay. So we were talking about Balco. We were talking about, Ross, and you guys forming a bond and a
Yeah.
relationship, and you kind of stuck it out with him. I think that might have been a
Yeah.
part of it because wasn't nobody messing with him. But you being the young guy, and saying, hey, I don't give a damn. It got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna befriend you either which way it goes. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
down with you like 4 flat tires. So please continue.
Yeah. So I got to A&T. I was supposed to be with him at A&T. And Ross is a very different kind of dude. He's one of those guys that the left hand never knows what the right hand is gonna do.
Okay.
So like I came down there and interviewed interviewed on like a Wednesday. He didn't, it wasn't an interview. He just gave me the job at going to A&T, told me the salary, and that was it, right? So he goes dark, and before I know it, there's a rumor, and a rumor gets back to me. He's like, "Yo, Ross is going to Tennessee." So I was like, "Oh snap!" And like, okay, and I was excited, and then he hits me up later on the line and says, "Hey, look, I don't got a coaching role for you, but I got this recruiting coordinator role for you, and it will be 1 year. They're going to change things in the NCAA where I can bring you as a coach. So let's come with me." And you know what I'm saying? I don't want to slow you up, and I'm gonna be fair. He didn't want me to come at first, and because he felt like because he wanted me to coach, you know what I'm saying? And it was a coaching role. So he was actually a part of it was looking out for him, And that made me really mess with him even more because I was like, you're looking out for me, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like if that's the case, then I want to work for you, you know. And I ended up going there, and I started my first day there. Like, I just love the pageantry of Tennessee. Like, that school, I love. Like, I've
Okay.
been at Tennessee. I was at Ole Miss, and I like the SEC. That's an experience, but that was a different experience because their fan base and the city of Knoxville was just like something else. Like, I never felt more
Right.
important. Anytime, every time I wore that tee, because they would say I work, because I say I work at UT and I work with the track and field, and it would be great. You know what I'm saying? So it was a really great experience um, from the UT community. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, like I recruited. I was a recruiting machine. Because even though I couldn't recruit from like going on visits or anything, I was able to get like I could produce some of the best recruiting list that I could, that I picked kids specifically for Ross that we could get. I thought year one was going to be tough, and I thought we were going to live and die. I think my mindset, we're going to live and die in the transfer portal, but he wanted the high school kids. I was like, well, you're not going to get every high school kid, and like that's not like, why do you want that? Your success right now is the kids that you get in the transfer portal. Like, those are your kids you're gonna have
Mm.
success for. Kids that you got that have to sit a little bit. That's already, that they're mature enough that you can coach them. So like that was my mindset in recruiting for him. So the most of the kids I got were either junior college kids or transfers, or they were older, and that was a really
Right.
great. And that was probably the hands down probably the best recruiting class that I got at any institution. Just because like there were so many kids that were in the top 25, and the kids that were like regional or NCAA, or ACC, or like ACC, or big at that time Power Five scorers that were coming to the school. So, and they were all
Right.
Americans. So like I put a really good class together, and it was the fact that I couldn't leave campus, and I'm recruiting for someone that I'm not gonna coach the kid, one on one.
Mhm.
That's not
Right.
the situation. He coaches everything. You know what I'm saying? I think we lost some kids because of that, because they liked me more than they liked him. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna be
Right.
like, "Out, you gonna let me?" Because they wanted me. Well, are you gonna be my coach? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, and to tell a kid like that, I'm not gonna lie to a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll work well, and I'm not gonna sit there try to sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I will not throw the coach under the bus. But I
Right.
was like, but again, I'm telling you, they're getting coached by Dwayne Ross. He's like, at that time, his son was one of the best quarter miles in the world. He had some of the, he put he had some of the fastest men and women in the world on his campus. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like I felt like I could
It
sell
was a good
him.
training ground. Definitely a good
Yeah, it's
training
great.
ground.
He's gonna do like he's I'm telling you, like, he's probably one of the best. He's probably one of the best coaches in the world. I will not deny that about
Yeah.
him.
Okay. So, well, let me ask you this, and because I'm gonna have to bring you back. I don't know what's going on with this internet, and I don't want to lose the context of what we're doing with your story,
Mhm.
because we have to come back and do some more conversation.
Okay.
We're not getting off right now, but I just want to let you know that before this thing just goes belly up on me, because I
Okay.
know it's got something to do with the weather. Um, what and when, because you're at Tennessee at this point, you
Mhm.
know, Ross is the coach. He's already caught up in scandal. Obviously he wasn't cleared. Well, he had to be cleared in order to be able to coach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
No,
You
no, no.
you
Yeah,
you're
yeah. Like
cleared.
that happened in '04. He was good in '07.
Yeah. So you're cleared, but you still have an asterisk by your name.
Right.
Okay. And um your judgment comes into question as a coach and what you're doing with your athletes. I don't
Right.
give a damn, hands down where it's going to happen.
Right.
People are always going to have that in the back of their mind.
Right.
And if you're sitting there blowing away the field, a letter is going to get sent to an athletic department or
Right.
to some oversight committee to say, hey, maybe we need to test Ross's kids.
Right.
I know it happened.
Right.
Okay. So and we're not talking about that. We're talking about Greg Lambert.
Mhm.
When did the train kind of start coming off the tracks at Tennessee? What was going on, and what was the buildup to that? into your situation?
Track and field's politics,
Okay.
and I operate on a different frequency and code. So I'm never gonna throw you under the bus. You know what I'm saying? If you're my teammate, you know what I'm saying, my staff, I'm gonna keep it real buck with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna look at and always support my head coach. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if you support me, I'm gonna support you, and like you got me here, I'm gonna be grateful. Um, what really that happened was I had two individuals that came with him from A&T. So I think that's what really set everything off, and that's his comfort zone. So I get it. So I think pretty much that there my dynamic with Ross, because Ross was really trying to like he really was like our relationship was legit. You know what I'm saying? I think someone else seeing that relationship kind of salted the water, and they were jealous. And again, it's like it sounds so petty, but this is track and field. Like this is what it really is. And like I think that relationship of us trying to me and Ross trying to evolve, and that relationship called got muddy. And like I don't think Ross like they take his word over mine. You know what I'm saying? And which I kind of expect. But I think that relationship and that dynamic with those two individuals that came with him from A&T, where they soiled our relationship. By that time, where me and Ross could be able to fix it, the damage was done because me and that relationship with those guys got better. You know what I'm saying? Over time, which that's I'm more like a process. Like you're not gonna like me right away. I don't expect you like you, but that's how it is. And but to add to insult to injury, even with that dynamic in the relationship, so I'm not giving a Ross a complete out. He's a terrible manager. You know what I'm saying? So our dynamics of working with him, like, and I'm at Tennessee. I'm making it very clear. Tennessee's a whole different animal. You know what I'm saying? So you can't you just don't go to the same place and do the same thing at every place. It's a whole different machine. And I was doing to put in perspective, football's only allowed 48 official visits. I did 75 in a year. And I was responsible for that. So what really happened with me and Ross was it was just he wanted to he wasn't a guy that wanted to be the bad guy, about a situation. Like he wouldn't tell me I'd have to he'd fuss you out and then cuss you out, like I said, and then it was a moment that was like I never knew what my day was like every day. It was like it was like I couldn't put in perspective. It was like being on TV. But I can't sit there and say what the actual moment was, but if I would put it into a whole, it was basically the politics and the relationships and basically whether people really like you. And the time they started liking me, they already did the damage for Ross not to like me and not to trust me. And by that time it was it was what it was. And pretty much what ended up happening is um there were some things that he said prior to that, that that was kind of out of pocket, because I shared a document with him. It was a little article about myself, about me having dyslexia and ADHD and how I overcame it with not having the support of of traditional, like using the IEP and stuff. And it was like a great article that Coppin wrote about me. Well, he brought that up in a meeting, an evaluation meeting about me. And so I asked for, in that regard, in that case, if you're going to bring that up, you're obviously seeing it's the issue. If you think that's the issue, my response was, hey, so why don't you help me out? Like, maybe I need this. He said, no, you don't need that. You need to figure it out. I'm like, all right, never mind. And I tried to figure it out. So then it led him up to trying to use my dyslexia and ADHD against me to fire me. But that's not what happened. He didn't fire me. I'll wait. I'll hold that up. Man, rough day. No, I didn't get to finish it. I got cut off. I said he didn't. You said he didn't fire you. Technically speaking, yeah, he didn't. I'm still online. Well, whatever. Well, I'm gonna get to the point. Yeah, I'll finish where I was.
I told you this thing was gonna be a headache.
Hey, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. So the last thing we were talking about was um you showed him a document, you showed Ross a document, and that's the last. Then it
Ye-
went off.
Yeah.
So
So I showed him. So basically, I was an article that he got to read about me about having dyslexia and how I overcame that. And it was written by Coppin State. It was really dope. You know what I'm saying? And it was showing me that I was working at University of Tennessee. So it was like a big deal because it was an alumni thing. You know what I'm saying? And ended up like it ended up he ended up throwing it in my face in an evaluation. Um, then he started when I so then we get to the end of the year, he uses that against me in a performance review. Now, mind you, university. So you have full context. University of Tennessee's policies are like because I'm not a coach, I'm actually support. So in order for my first 6 months working there, I am on probation. So like if I sneeze wrong, you know what I'm saying, you can let me go, right? After 6 months, you have to you have to now it's like a procedure. So you can't just it's not like at will. That's like it's in their policies, you know. So around the time I asked for help for that, he actually denied me, which he shouldn't deny me for help for my when he brought up my ADHD and dyslexia, because he said, he said that I had to figure it out, which is not the thing that you're supposed to say, but hey, that's what he wanted to say because he's actually supposed federal law. If you made it, he brought it up and he's supposed to help me. All right. So when we get to the end of the year, he's using it to hold against me. He's then trying to get me to forcibly to resign, and he's using resignation as me not versus getting fired. Now I'm gonna let you. So he tried to get me to resign, and I was like, nah, that's off because I'm not gonna resign because if I resign, I give up my benefits. Like, why don't you give me a severance package? You know what I'm saying? Like you're only gonna give me 1 month. Like, why would you not like why don't you at least let me get to least like to the end of August? You know what I'm saying? He just wanted me to leave and
right,
let alone resign at that. Which why would I
mhm,
resign without a job and I did nothing wrong? You know what I'm saying?
right,
And if that's the case, then just fire me. Because at least if
mhm,
fire me, at least get unemployment. I don't care about getting fired. You know. So what he did was he got mad when I refused to resign. He told the University of Tennessee that I verbally resigned, and University of Tennessee doesn't take verbal resignations at all.
mhm,
So what I did was I filed a lawsuit and I filed with the EEOC, and that was an experience in itself. But it was something based on principles. Like it was that day I made a deal with, like I picked track over my family
right,
because my mindset was like you're asking me to choose my family over your family. Now I get it, you're the head coach, but I don't care. Like if I'm on a cliff and your family's like I gotta choose between my family and yours, you can't get upset. I'm going to choose my family. So
correct,
to me, if you can do it, just fire me. I don't care about that. I can't do anything about that. But legally, he knew and procedurally he could not fire me. So that's why he said I verbally resigned, which I did no such thing. Because when I asked him,
mhm,
I said, like, we accept your verbal resignation. I says, University of Tennessee doesn't take verbal resignation. It's like it's literally in their policies. And like so then when I for them to double down, they tried to deny me unemployment. Unemployment said even the state of Tennessee said no, they fired you. So they gave me unemployment. If I verbally resigned because they said I resigned, they didn't take the paperwork. They made sure that I still got unemployment. So obviously that's not the case. But that day I refused to do that. I made a deal like, nah, my family comes first. And I felt the sport.
Okay.
And I thought by that time I was like, I was over the sport, because what I did after that by filing a case with the EOC and doing that is career suicide. Like every coach knows that. You know what I'm saying? Only one coach I have seen survive that, and that was CarJ Lyles, who was at Mississippi State, who filed a lawsuit against Missouri, and he won like 1.5. Right now, mind you, he had all his ducks in a row. I'm gonna be real. I didn't have all my ducks in a row because I didn't think I was gonna have to go through this. You're not gonna think another black man is gonna do this to another black man.
Right.
So what ends up leading to when I filed, after I filed, I went through like 3 lawyers, because it wasn't about if I was right. It was what could they put the time in? Like if I was going to, and the investment to in the return was not going to be even worth it at the end, because when you're going against Tennessee, you're going against the Shield, you know, their corporation. So like I'm in Knoxville, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to go against, you're going against, it's big guy versus little guy, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And each lawyer thinking they can squeeze on Tennessee because it's Tennessee, but Tennessee ain't gonna budge unless they know they're exposed. And they're gonna, even Dwayne could be lying. As much as I could sit there and say it wasn't about lying, it's what they could procedurally prove and how they went about it. So I like learned a lot about law during that stretch, even without a lawyer. It took me to my 4th lawyer that was on my consultation. It's like she was like, "Yo, it's not that you're wrong. You are right. Like everything there, like I could prove, but the problem is it's the man hours I would have to do to prove your case." And I don't know if you really want to prove, because it's not going to be the return that you want out of this, and me the time to put into it. And like she was the first one to be honest with me about it. And from that moment, I was like, well, I looked at it as a blessing in disguise, because I had to make myself think it was, because if I was suing for 150,000, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, if I sign an NDA, I can't ever tell the story. I can't talk about it, you know? So I'm gonna figure out how to be able to tell my story, because I don't want anyone else to ever go through what I did, you know what I'm saying? Because they can flip this, you know? And I'll tell you how bad that affected me just professionally, because again, I'm 23, I didn't get any coaching job. Every job I applied for, and mind you, in the background, again, you can only control what someone else is saying. He's telling people that, oh, I just couldn't cut it. The job was too big for me. Even though that, like, he doesn't think that's hurting me and it's defaming me or slandering my name. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right. He blackballed you.
and it is in a form. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm like, I can't like sit there and say, oh, like, I'm gonna sue you for saying that. No, it's still like muddying the waters to every coach to look at me. And it's like being in high school. So like, I didn't get a job for a year until, and the only job I got was back at my alma mater, and by that time I had like used up all my resources. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like to survive, bro. Like, and you got 2 kids, and you're trying to make everything happen. Like, and then you're trying to go into other jobs. You know what I'm saying? And they see you as a coach. And they just see you as a coach. They don't really look at the jobs. Your skills transfer over to to the other industries. You know, they just think you're at practice all day. You know, I was in sales, working at NCSA, and I probably can sell that stuff now versus being after taking that loss for it. But I couldn't do it in the beginning. And it's like then you're trying to find other jobs during that time. So I ended up getting back. I ended up going from after that, it took me a year to get back into college coaching. And by that time I was so jaded by it. Coppin State was just like the icing on the cake. Cause I like what I left, I was like, oh shoot, I don't want to experience this either. So it wasn't even, and again, that's also on me by that time. Cause like I was in a different headspace.
Right.
But like during that stretch, I was writing music during that time, because that was helping me therapeutically get out. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of my boys, Quentin James. He heard me on one of my tracks on Suno, and it wasn't even a hip hop record. You know what I'm saying? It was a pop record. Like, and me just using a female's voice, and he was like, yo, you nice at this, man. Like, this is like radio caliber. I was like, no, I don't really think so. You know what I'm saying? But then I just start playing around with it, and just really letting go of what was going on, my traumas, or what my life was, and like as I started developing skill, being a writer, because I always could write, I really just really got better at it and more efficient. And then just talk about producing songs, and like, you know what I'm saying, I thought that was producing songs on a Suno would be different, you know what I'm saying, and by that time, I had vowed I was going to use that situation at Tennessee to flip it, because I want people to know that part of the story. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I kind of
So
got that. Sorry, what were you about to say? Sorry.
yeah, so when because you rolled off into the music, you jumping off into the music, so you didn't really start messing. You said you was always writing, so
Yeah.
you had that under your belt, but you didn't really get into the music until what year?
Well, I will say it would, with the AI music, I would say 2024, right? That
Okay,
was like after
24.
a year. Oh, that was
Okay.
after going through it with the going through the situation with Tennessee.
Okay.
But I rapped before that. G Fury was started back in like '03 with my counterpart Nameless. That was my cousin, and like I
Okay.
rapped for David Banner back in the day. And I tried to. Actually, I got quiet. It was like it was a freestyle battle. But yeah, but the AI music was 2024, where I started doing it. I discovered the app Suno. Oh man, again, keeps freezing. Damn, I did it again. That's crazy.
Having a good interview and having someone participate with you when the internet is going in and out. And I sure hate that, because the conversation with G Fury is a good one. He has a great story, and we left off with, my apologies once again with this internet, and we left off with, back in '03, with your when you really started dealing with the artistry of music. But in 2024, you picked up Suno and AI, and started going in on your situation. You started to try to figure it out in terms of what you could talk about. So give me a little bit more background on '03, spanning up into, 21 years later, um, 2024, jumping off into Suno, working with artificial intelligence, and producing your sound and producing your voice. Talk to me.
So yeah, '03, started a group called Undisputed after
Yeah.
watching the movie Undisputed with Wesley Snipes.
Okay. And that
Fury
was you and
came.
Nameless, right? That was you and Nameless.
Yeah, me and Nameless.
Okay.
That was my cousin. And he was actually, I'd probably say, like he was the better between us. He was clever. I was the more aggressive one, but between the lyrics, he's probably the more clever one between us. We helped each other write. Um, we did that all the way to probably about from '03 to '05.
Okay.
Like obviously we were trying, like, I mean, that was like, and like going to this at that time, we did probably 3 records to ever go in the studio with me and him together, you know. So after that, we probably let it, like we never picked it up again. He still wrote, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a journalism major, you know. Lyrically, I'd pick freestyle. I was more of a freestyle guy and like ciphers. So that was more my and battle rap, because Cannabis was like my favorite battle rapper at the time.
Hmm.
So never didn't pick it up again, you know. And then went to we got to 24, and I saw this reel about Suno that can help you change the world. These are one of the apps that can change the world. And I picked up Suno, and again, just ended up being like therapy. And you took some of my old music, like songs that I had from back in the day, put it into Chat GBT and see if we can fix it up, and and prompt. Made me really relearn how to prompt, as well as relearning how to for music. So I just like started playing around with how the sounds was with Suno, whether listen to everyone else how they did it. Hip hop was the first thing I could not do. I struggled with that. I could have done R&B. I could have done country. I could do pop. I could do soul. I could do blues using the app, creating that sound, but I couldn't do hip hop to save my life. It was just
Mm.
a struggle. So I first mastered other genres of music beforehand, and was with it when it. I got good at Suno was when my cousin, because I was like, "Yo, look, take Nameless." Then Nameless comes back in the picture. I said, "Yo, let me see your lyrics and let's put some of your joint." Like, you put some, and we end up doing a. It was a joke. We ended up having a battle against each other, but he wasn't battling me. He was battling actually battling my Chat GPT, and my Chat GPT actually learned his cadence and style, and
Mm.
like lyrics, and like how we start forming. That was like especially early at that time. So it was like it
Okay.
was. So so then by that time, learning music theory, because he helped me learn music theory, because he was actually uh he was a musician. He used to play the saxophone. So um me and him were like, he was giving me ideas, and I just started getting really good at creating the music and creating how I started wanting to create my sound. And like it ended up sharpening it, like iron sharpens iron, like what ended up happening, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got better at it like overnight. That's what it felt like, because I started probably like July, playing around with it, and I was playing around with it like every day. Like, I probably
Okay.
at one point at the time I got to October, I had like over 600 songs that I made, you
Right.
know. And so, you can do that. And then, like, it was around Timberland. Then Timberland was trying to make it, you know what I'm saying, more commercial with Suno, because he was
Mm.
like creating his AI artist, that he created and whatnot. So that kind of gave me the idea, but I didn't want to make an AI avatar. I wanted me to create my avatar and my AI and my
Mhm.
sound, you
Right.
know. And because I would play around my voice with it, because once I would either sample my voice and use it and create, and then soon it'll start evolving where I would make different variations of my voice, and I would
Mhm.
just have them on deck. So it was like in December of that year is where I decided to drop my first bit of music, and it was called "You Got This," and it was called another record was called "You." I understand it now, based off the basketball guy, Lethal Shooter. He can make any
Mhm.
shot. I made a song called "I Understand It Now." It was me and my cousin together wrote it together. Um, and during that stretch, I told him, it was like, because I looked at my algorithm and looked at how my algorithm was and how my IG was set. It was set for the track and field niche. So I was like, how do I use this to leverage and get more views and go viral on my track and field? And I came up with an idea I thought was crazy. And when I told my boy, he thought it was nuts. He says, like, I'm gonna start a track beef. Because one of my boys got the ideas to me. He says, like, track and field should be like battle rap.
Mhm.
Because like it's one on one, it's boxing, it's an aggressive aspect. And track and field tries to, like, the track and field culture is a very nice guy culture.
Mhm.
It's not like we don't want to say the crazy thing, out of pocket thing that may be real, but no one wants to say it. They rather be nice.
Mhm.
And to me, there's all those dynamics, whether it's with your as coaches amongst coaches, athletes amongst athletes. Just the culture of track and field is not to draw something that's unconventional. And I think in the era of social media, you kind of got to be a little bit more unconventional with the sport. And
Mhm.
my idea was like, you know what? I'm going to start a rap beef with Dwayne Ross, because he can't say shit to me if I do. The only thing he can do is get on the mic.
Right.
That's all he can do. And the reason it was part of it was I'm gonna start a rap beef, because I said it's a joke. Because I said the whole record was a joke. I made a 9-track diss record to him,
Mhm.
which is ridiculous in itself. 9 tracks, and actually really be 11. So I made 2 mixtapes. This one was called Vault Talk. The other one was To Cat, aka To Catch a Predator. I was playing
Mhm.
off Chris Hansen. And
Okay.
so I was like, well, if I do this, I'm gonna get my spike in my algorithm, because and especially if I release it on these components, because this is going to help at nationals, because everyone's going to, because I'm gonna get all these track and field feeds. But I'll just
Mhm.
build up to it. And I had this idea that I was already going to plan on dropping like 25 mixtapes, and I wanted to make my music AI music more normal, as well as my music was actually good.
Right.
And I felt that. So I came up with that idea. Um, to make the mixtape. Now, when I make the mixtape, I did basically in music the topics I would talk about, I talked about everything that I said was factual, and that he knew. Now, there are some things that he didn't know I knew, because I was getting information. I put it in my song, and the way I felt when I did all this research beforehand, they said I was like, I can say how I was going to say it was going to be an artful form. So it's like, if I'm basically talking shit to you at this point, because it's battling.
Right.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So if I can say anything that could be left, and what are you going to say to me? I'm saying to you on a track. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if someone's listens to me on a track and takes me serious, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, it's art. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's for interpretation.
Mhm.
So now I took my actual feelings. Yeah, I wanted to have a beef with him. You know what I'm saying? But I was going to use it because I knew it could work. And
Mhm.
so
But
I
then
wait.
you also knew that the individual Ross had no way to
To
rebut. There was
respond.
no rebuttal on his end.
There was nothing he could do, because the whole point of me saying catch a predator, and which is this is going to be a bad conceptualized idea when you say it out loud, but it's funny because he has no social media, and me and my wife were making spoof about that, because he was like, yo, like, anyone that doesn't have social media, they're probably a pedophile. Something's wrong with them. You know what I'm saying? There's probably
Mhm.
a serial killer. So that was my idea with it. I was like, he's not gonna get on the. He's not. He has no. He either got to get on social media, or he got to get on the mic. And no, it's not fair. I know he's not going to do either one of the things. He's just going to sit there and be frustrated and be pissed, you
Right.
know. But my algorithm is going to go up, and now people are going to be more drawn to my music and come and check my music out, and that's all I cared about. Oh man, to do it again. I did it again. Man. I need to check out that Inhuman. Masters of the Universe. It's probably gonna be great. I'm promoting it.
We back. We back. Number 7, Mike Vick. We back, baby. We back.
Right.
So we were talking about with this intermittent signal that I'm having. Like I say, man, I really don't with what's going on. I just hate that I'm chopping this interview up like this, man. I just don't like it. But I'm enjoying the conversation. It's a great story. You were talking about, you're figuring out a way to get the algorithm to jump as a result of this rap beef that you've created with Ross, who is your ex-coach, based on some of the things that you've experienced, and you're putting you're taking your artistry and you're putting it on full display through an AI cultivated type of setting. And of course, Ross, who, like you said, To Capture a Predator, between you and the wife, you guys are in jest, of course, making light or making fun that this guy has no social media. He has nothing going on. So there's no recourse. He's not going to rebut. But, for people that don't in this day and age, so to speak, if you don't have social media, what you're saying is there's probably something wrong with you. But I and devil's advocate here, but he was probably an older guy. Yes.
He's just 10 years older than me. So like not to have any.
So I don't know what that means.
He's 53.
Okay, so yeah, he ain't got no social media, man. I'm 50 plus, and I really don't have social media. I'm only really engaging in social media because I'm realizing, it helps move product, it helps move the narrative, it helps disseminate or the dissemination of information.
Right.
There are a lot of people that are 50 plus that, you got to think MySpace was the end thing, or Black Planet.
Right. Black Planet was. Yeah. Here's my rebuttal to that. All right. You're the only SEC head coach in the country that does not have social media. And you want to
that still doesn't speak to he probably doesn't like dealing with social media.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but he doesn't recruit at a flagship school. That was my point. That even for recruiting, that was actually probably hard because it was brought up to me by kids. Like, yo, I never see him on the media. He never does home visits. Like, I'm like, that's a thing. Like, and these are and every other coach does. And which one? Why don't you have one? Now, again, I'm just poking fun at it. I know he's not what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Like I just know because if I poke fun at it, I know that bothers him.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to do is poke fun at it.
Okay.
Like,
Okay. So now let me ask you from the human element of it, whether he's 10 years older than you or not, right? If you had an issue with this gentleman, why you didn't just go punch him in his motherfucking face?
um, you know what? I
Go punch him in the shit.
no, like trust me, like there was a period in my life that I want to go, like I want to throw hands with him. I'm not gonna even sit there and saying like there was a place where I was in a dark place where it's like
Right.
I came to a place where I had to choose,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And and I'm looking at my family at this, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like
Right.
at that point, track and field to me is a code. There's something bigger than that. Like there's like it was like this is what I built up to. Like this is
Hmm.
the person, the identity I have.
Right.
And this man, like how I felt again, just because that's how I felt and how I'm feeling and saying that is my reality at the time. It's not me, is my
Hmm.
reality. I'm saying
Yeah.
that. And
And
I
he tried to
wanted to,
strip all of that away from you. I
yeah,
mean,
he took that from, and he took, and I felt that's
right,
how I felt.
right.
So, and I,
But
and it was
there again, I understand that completely.
right.
And and just coming from an old school mindset, right? Yes, I can sit there and kill you with lyrics. I can sit there and destroy you in the face of the general public, the whole 9 yards, and get some kind of gratification from it. But I would feel so much better if I just came and punched you in your shit, and we
You know
just,
what? If
we
we
just
box
caught
it
this
out,
fade.
yeah, you know what? I want to catch that fade. I wanted to catch that fade with him. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And like and it was during this stretch when I dropped, there was a coach. I had to ask him this question. I said, "This is okay. What would you rather me do? Let's think about worst case scenarios, right?" And I said, and I'm not the fade is. Let's just say the fade is not the worst case scenario.
Hmm.
That is not. That's just me throwing that. But what could be my worst case scenario if you took something from me? You know, in this day of life where everyone has the right to bear arms and we have all these shootings and whatnot,
Hmm.
I could have made
Right.
a choice that would have been, we could have been talking about being
Detrimental.
tragic,
Right. Right.
tragic, you
Right.
know, or I can sit there and put some bars on wax, make some
Hmm.
music, make a hard ass beat, and everyone just laughs, no one dies. Everyone's
Right.
happy. You know what I'm saying? We get a
Okay.
laugh out of this. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I look at it. I had to look at it when I made like instead of me just catching that fade. You know what I'm saying? That would have felt good. Don't get it twisted. That probably would have felt good, but it would have been I would have still felt just as empty if I did the most extreme shit. To me,
Hmm.
doing it as as a as an MC, as an AI artist, it like it to me it put my family first, it put me first, you know what I'm saying? And but me catching that fade puts him first, you know what I'm saying? Me
Right.
because hey, was he going like if he's built like this, if he's built the way he is, was he's not gonna sit there and say I like I got my ass whooped by him. He's gonna sit there and go to the very most extreme and try to lock me up, say he assaulted me, even though he probably would, even if he probably threw the first punch.
Right.
That's the kind of person he is. So
Okay.
I rather start a rap beef and troll the shit out of him and make content where it's funny, where it's like, yo, you like it's satire, it's music. You like I'm hurting you. The pen is mightier than the sword. That's the one thing I realized. The pen is truly mightier than the sword, and I showed it. And
Hmm.
and that whole entire because that man was is thinking about me and my
Right.
music. Because I like
Okay.
when we dive in, like you're talking about the man, and I purposely did it. I didn't put my lyrics on DistroKid purposely because I realized I told my man, he's like, if he sues you, I said, if he sues me, it's like it's gonna validate me. Because here's why he's gonna have to listen to my music. How many streams he's gonna have to listen to my song, and he's helping
Hmm.
me. Every view he has to look at, he's helping me. So
Right.
I'd rather torment him with that. He's going through that. That's fine. That's not again. It's like if you're doing that, that's what it is. But you're helping me. The whole point is I was trying to end that feud like made it more relevant in the track and field world because I became a topic. I became a topic, and it was a topic that fueled my algorithm because
Okay.
they wanted to see that. They
Right.
still want to see that.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use it to my advantage. Like I was like, because I had a friend say like, yo, you gonna let this dude do like you bodied him enough? I was like, nah, the algorithm says like I keep doing it. I'm gonna do what the algorithm says.
Right. Okay. Okay. I feel you. I feel you. And look, man, I don't know why this thing keeps jumping and keeps doing what it's doing. But we need to schedule another time for us to jump on this thing when this internet is working fluidly. And I'm not coming in and out because we're really getting into what happened. We're getting into the buildup of the suit or him
Right.
filing a what is it, a defamation suit,
Defamation
um,
and libel assault.
defamation and libel assault. So yes, you already knew that he was going to take it to the extreme once
Right.
he started to see, oh man, these people are really clowning me, and the push of mass media across the board in the track world resonates because I know and everyone else around us knows that he was at Tennessee. Greg Lambert
Right.
was at Tennessee. He was assisting me, and I'm being made to look like a fool, which in essence he fell for it. I really hold those other two coaches accountable because those are the ones that really threw some extra salt into the pot with your situation
Right.
and muddied the waters. But Ross didn't come to you as a man and talk to you straight up. I mean, hey, I'm coming to you saying, Coach, there's an article written about me. I've got dyslexia. These are some things that I need assistance with.
Right.
Whatever it may be, I'm opening up to you on a personal level.
Right.
And you gonna take that and throw that in my face on a performance evaluation when
Right.
that has nothing to do with me going out and recruiting. I've got over 75 recruits that I've walked through this campus and convinced maybe what half of them or a large percentage of them to
If I
come and
shoot,
participate.
if you get like 30%, you did good. Man. Oh,
G.
What's up, my guy?
Yeah, man. You see what I'm saying? It's going for some odd reason. It's going to keep doing that, and I don't want this conversation to not go the way that I want it to go, because right now it's kicked me off of IG, it's kicked me off of Facebook, and I'm
Oh
just
wow.
streaming on Twitch and on YouTube right now and on LinkedIn, because that's the only thing that's staying open on the live feed for some reason. I'm not sure why, but you know, so we need to set another date
All right.
for us to jump back into this thing towards we let this weather pass through, because we're dealing with freezing temperatures down here in Mississippi right now. So I don't know if somebody ran into the tower or somebody, if it's just frost on the line. I don't know what the hell going on, man. To
Right,
tell
right,
you the
right.
truth, but it's actually aggravating as hell, because we get into the beef of it, and the thing cuts off. So I was asking you about the percentage of kids that actually stuck out of the 75.
30%.
30%. So you're looking at 30%.
Yeah, that's good. You
Uh,
get 30%, that's good.
that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, to have a 30% rate of kids out of 100% of the kids that came through to visit on the campus, you got 30 of them. That's good.
No,
Um,
I would say 30% of the 75% of the 75 that came on campus, but probably 30. So that'd
okay.
probably be like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
probably like 20 or so
Yeah.
kids
Something
that
like
were in
that.
it.
20,
Yeah,
25%.
between men and women. So that was
Right.
like
Right.
that's a solid recruiting class.
Okay. So definitely solid. Definitely means that you were putting in the work. Definitely means you were putting in some serious FaceTime and having some real good, intimate conversations to convince these kids to come to Tennessee to participate in track and field.
Yeah.
That's no easy task. And for the coach to do it the way that he did it, to voluntarily, on his words, say that you quit, that you resigned verbally, and try to pass that off at the administration level with Tennessee, and for Tennessee to already have it in writing that you cannot verbally resign. We need something in writing. Either you're terminated or you've decided to move on based on your own feelings and intentions, and your own free will of accord. For him to do that and to try to kick you in your ass, so to speak. And like you say, this is another black man doing this to
Right.
a black man. So that's
Not a
not
black
something
man,
that
yeah.
you were expecting. It kind of threw you off.
Right.
Um, but instead of you taking the volatile route, being violent or acting out in such a way where something could have actually tragically happened, you decided to take your art form and utilize that weapon against him.
Right.
And you knew that since you already had a large swath of the track world paying attention to you, because coaching at Tennessee in the SEC, that draws a lot of attention
Right.
to you. So did the school come after you, or was it just Ross came after you?
Ross came at me. The school did
Okay,
not
so
never
the school didn't care. It didn't have
school
nothing to
did
do with the
not
school.
care. School
Right.
did not care. He did things I can't say for sure, but that's a whole nother topic. But I can't say for sure he did it, but I'm sure he got authorized it. But I won't be surprised if he authorized it, was getting my work taken down and saying copyrights. And saying miss copywriting. Like I got like the messages from IG. So like
Okay.
which put my account like with IG, that's like if they see too many like flagrants, they're gonna sit there and deactivate your account.
Deactivate your account, right?
Yeah, so he did that in March, right? And then he waited again until like the end of November to do it.
Mhm.
and it was different. It was like twice in March. It was twice in March, and then he did it twice. He did it twice uh in November.
Okay.
And one was me sparking it because I
Mhm.
was like, nah, let me see if you're gonna take this down now. And they flagged it again. And then I was like, I'm gonna watch this. So I put the same thing up on when I got it. I had to get my new account where you see me now. I had to get that new account, and they didn't touch that. So they were scared of my views. So
Right.
like they like that, like they were clear scared of my views. It was clearly that account. It wasn't the content. It was the account. It
Mhm.
wasn't, the issue was not my content at all. It was it was the fact that people were directing coming to him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sitting there saying I was trolling him, no different than 50 Cent does anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want
Right.
to make it very clear. You know what I'm saying? He never said stop.
Yeah. I mean, he was
He
going
never
at his
said
head. I understand that. I get it.
yeah, I'm going at his head. Like it was, and that's what it
Mhm.
was. Like, like
Mhm.
I mean, to the point where it's like when he did that, I mean, I said, okay, like when he went to when he got my last piece of content, because I get it if when I first put it up. I get it when I first put it up because that's what he did when he did in March. Because that to me I get because that's like an onslaught. You know what I'm saying? I was coming at him. So I get that because when they realized that he was taking it down, I got creative. So he couldn't take it down. They couldn't say copyright.
Mhm.
So when I did the AI content, I was like, there's no way they can take down my content. There's no
Right.
way because they can't say it's theirs. Because
Right.
that was what they were standing on. It was theirs.
Mm.
I said, so I was like, oh shit, we're gonna see if they're gonna take it down. Like they took it down. I was like, and it was up after me it being up for a month and a half.
Right. Okay.
So all of a sudden, a month and a half afterwards, now it's an issue. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna put it back up, take it down again. And I was like, and the thing is, at that point, he takes it down. I said, oh man, like you're playing a game that you don't want to play with because now we're playing trolling. Because at this
Right.
point, to me, it's no different than trolling.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson because I'm gonna make you feel real uncomfortable at your job. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like real uncomfortable because I'm like, this is just me promote. Like this is what you want to do because at this point, I'm not. This is tit for tat. So I sat down and said, "This is." I told it in in an email, and I was like, I'm gonna link all my links, all my mixtapes, and sit there and say, "Yo, this rap beef that me and Ross have is funny," and I'm like making fun of it, and I emailed the whole entire athletic department to promote my music because I wanted them to click and get the views and so on and so forth. But I doubled down and I hit to the SC all the track and field programs in the SEC. So I knew he wouldn't like that because he doesn't want that he wasn't going to be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to let you just do something to me and we're playing this the game we're playing. You're not going to
Right.
like it how it goes because I have nothing to lose. You have $450,000 of reasons to what to lose.
Right.
So this game is not a game that you want to play. Your supervisor is a white man does not want to hear about some shit so that you're getting in some beef with a coach that you fired that you probably got shit for because you didn't follow your procedures, and he probably
Mhm.
checked you on that shit because they protected you. They don't want to hear about that shit. So if I
Right.
know they don't want to hear about that shit, oh, I'm gonna exploit that shit. And I did
Mhm.
that. And I'm like, but I'm also gonna benefit. I'm gonna get a view. They're gonna check that. You know what I'm saying? So like again, if he never touches my content because he's saying it's affecting his recruiting. Is it affecting his recruiting or is it affecting Tennessee's recruiting? Because last time I checked, you work for Tennessee, so it is not affecting anything that has to do with you. It has to affect with Tennessee. So Tennessee never reached out to me and said you need
Mhm.
to shut this shit down. Like
Right.
you need to stop this stuff. Not
Mhm.
a no representative legal representation from Tennessee with their because they're looking at this like they deal with stuff like everyone has an opinion about everything. I'm gonna do it in art. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they didn't have an issue. Shoot, I had like one of my videos were music videos with I put hypo in the video. I put Danny White in the video to be petty. They haven't touched those videos yet. But again, it's probably because it's different when I have 106 followers versus when I had like 2,000. Again, I only had 2,000 followers. So you took my stuff down because I had 2,000 followers. That's crazy. But you get mad, you file a lawsuit because I do some satire of having you in like your in a baby in a like you're getting rubbed down by Diddy, you know what I'm saying? While the situation is still viral. Oh, you hear this? Oh man, it's happening again. Shit.
Yeah, G. I'm now I'm getting to the point to where is, you know, it's not even fun anymore. You know, with the
I get it.
going in and out. I hate the transition because the conversation's getting good. We're getting to it, and I'm like, damn, you know, I really want the people to hear and see what's happening, you know, and feel it and feel your conversation, feel your emotion when you're talking about it. So let's do this, man. Let's do this because I don't want to sit there and truncate the story. I don't want it to come across the wrong way. I don't want it to come across choppy because I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to ask you because I'm gonna play devil's advocate with you on this thing because you know I can see both points of views.
Yeah.
I do understand um you know how you're trying to come across, what you're trying to get accomplished. You're having fun with it, but at the same time, you're serious as a heart attack about it because of what he's done. He's put your family into, you know, a very bad situation
Mhm.
because he's terminated your employment. You know,
Right.
you're making, you know, good money at the time. You've got two sons. You guys are living in Tennessee, and now you've terminated me. I don't have a job. So yeah, I'm pissed off. I, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
even beyond pissed, I mean, shit, you can't even give me a justifiable reason as to
Right.
why, based on, you know, a conversation that we had that was number one, should have been, you know, this is personal. This is something that I'm bringing to
Right.
you because I'm opening up to you. I'm being vulnerable about, you know, some things that I'm dealing with as a human being, not take it and use it against me. If that was the case, be straight up with me and fire me. Hey man, look,
Right.
it ain't
I'm
got
good
nothing to
with
do
that.
with your performance evals and you having dyslexia or whatever the case may be. It's just that, you know, we got to let you go.
Right.
We could have had that conversation.
Right.
You
He
see,
could have had it. And like he like the stuff he said, he promised to give me a job. You know what I'm saying? And
right?
before that, like he was like, but why would I quit before I had a job? Like,
Before you
you know what
had
I'm
a
saying?
job,
Yeah, like
correct?
it don't make any
Correct.
sense. So why would I verbally resign?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense at all. You
But
know,
you learn and you figure out
Yeah.
you know, in dealing with coaches and dealing with people that are making that kind of money, they have to do what the program is telling them to do. They're not bigger than the program.
Right.
So it might have came from a higher up. It might have came from some other stuff. You said the other two coaches that were throwing salt. There's a lot of things that would have mixed up or mixed into that perfect storm of you getting to him wanting to let you go or not have you be a part of the program. So that's some stuff that we need to jump into. We have to talk about
Right.
the SEC filing. We have to talk about I'm not the SEC filing, but the filing of the lawsuit, you finding out about the lawsuit,
Yeah.
how you're dealing with it in itself, where you're at with it right now. See, those are all questions that I have, and I want the people to really get the true gist of what we're talking about without it being chopped up and broken down. So
Okay.
you give me a date, Monday,
Man, you
Wednesday, or
tell me.
Friday.
Wednesday or
Okay,
Friday.
let's follow up because Mondays we have Going to Bed with XO every Monday.
Okay.
Every Wednesday we have Jarrell
Next Friday.
Braswell that comes on, and then Friday, of course, is my artist segment. So what are you doing? What are you doing Tuesday? What
I
you
ain't
got
doing
going on
nothing.
for Tuesday?
I got nothing going on
Okay.
Tuesday.
All right. So hopefully, weather permitting, and this internet situation is back. We're going to do a special segment on Tuesday
Okay.
because I only go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Right. We're gonna because I have another artist segment on Friday that's
Friday.
already
That's fine.
scheduled. So let's and I'm going to promote it to where people know that we're going to go live on Tuesday with
All right.
you to follow up with closing out this conversation because of this internet situation.
Yeah.
You see how many times it's already jumped back and forth.
You're
But
fine.
yeah. And I appreciate that. I appreciate your patience. But like I said, this normally doesn't happen. These things don't normally happen. But for some odd reason today, it's acting a fool. But I want to sit here and because I want to introduce your music. I want to introduce your AI creativity. I want people to see your skill set when it comes to what you're doing in the space, and how you're being very creative and innovative, and at the same time how you're taking your brand and you're pushing it on a serious marketing and promotions tip, but you're telling your story. You're talking about that first clip that I played. That was like the second clip of you introducing your series, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, of you talking about the lawsuit in itself. And okay, without emotion, without this and other, let's walk through the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? You learning the terminology, you learning what this filing against you really means and what you have to do to actually fight this case and how you're going about doing it. I want everybody to feel that. You get what I'm saying, Greg?
Yeah, no, yeah.
But that should let you know also that I do my homework. I didn't just bring you on and not do some background. I went and looked at all your stuff. I went and listened to all of the files that you've actually put up and the information that you're dropping, even the music. You know what I'm saying? That you're working with. I want people to hear this because it's unique, and you're really telling your story. So we're going to do live at 5 on Tuesday of next week.
All right. What I did for you, so you could have some more info. I sent you the subpoena.
Perfect. So I'll read throughout. I'll read that whole document, and I'll have some more questions. I'll have some things some feedback, and let's see how we can. Do you have an attorney outside of someone that's just saying it's a lot of hours that they're not going to put into it? Because most lawyers, if they're doing pro bono, they want to be able to make some money.
Yeah. No. Right now I don't have a lawyer.
Okay. So maybe, and like you said, nobody wants to fight the Shield, and the Shield is really Tennessee because they would inevitably be putting money behind their guy, so to speak. to make sure that he doesn't look like a buffoon out here in the world. But I guess the end result is you pushing the narrative enough to whereas either one, he's so embarrassed and he's looking so bad, but you being funny about everything, with the satire and the way that you're approaching it, that he
right there.
all right. So we're not gonna keep fighting with this thing. We're not gonna keep fighting, but we do want to let the general public know, those that are still on either Twitch or YouTube, that we will be following up with this conversation next Tuesday. We'll get some advertisement out about it. Next Tuesday, we're going to have a special day live at 5. We're going to get back into this thing with Greg Lambert, aka G Fury, to talk about what's going on with his situation, and we will also have some special documentation because I've just been told that I'll have a copy of the subpoena in hand that I'll have an opportunity to read, for myself prior to us engaging in the conversation. And we're going to kick this thing off, in high form and high fashion, and get this thing done the right way without intermittent internet disconnects here as we go along with talking about what's going on with Greg. That's cool with you, G?
I'm good with it. I look forward to it.
Okay. Man, I appreciate you. And I apologize for
Don't gotta
what's
apologize,
going
man.
on.
Shoot.
But I gotta call AT&T. I can't even call them now because it's after hours. So I gotta call them tomorrow morning and see
Right.
what's going on. But that's cool, man. I appreciate you for jumping on with me. I'm enjoying the conversation. Don't think that I'm not, because it's very interesting. I like the case. I like the situation. But we're gonna jump off a little bit deeper into it on Tuesday. Good deal.
All right, perfect.
Okay. Yes, indeed. And to all of our fans, family, and friends, y'all know with me, man, it's always about health, wealth, and wellness. Stay dangerous. You've been locked into another great episode of Primetime Pod. Major salute to our guest. And remember, ain't no time like prime time. This is your main man, Big G, with Industry Talk. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to our network, Primetime Pod.
And as always, beautiful people, it's about health, wealth, and wellness.
Primetime 5. Make sure you check it out.
Now, why the fuck you think he missing? You say that. Now, I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
Time is money.
They go trap.